Hey YouTube! So I'm going to be doing a little bit of an update today. I want to talk about Nevaeh's report card. She got her report card home Thursday afternoon, and I was actually really pleased with it on the whole. So we'll just get right into that. So to understand a little bit about junior kindergarten, or sorry, senior kindergarten, um, some of the areas that Nevaeh Walls is struggling in is language, math, and a little bit of health and physical activity. So by the end of senior kindergarten, children should be able to communicate by listening and talking and speaking to others for a variety of purposes and in a variety of contexts. Demonstrate critical awareness and understanding of a variety of written materials that are read by and with the teacher. Um, Using reading strategies that are appropriate for beginning readers, communicating and writing using strategies that are appropriate for beginners, and to just basically understand, just to begin understand reading. The other thing is math, which you're supposed to be able to demonstrate an understanding of numbers using concrete materials to explore and investigate counting, quantity, and number relationships. To be able to measure the length, compare, show differences, and to describe, sort, classify, and compare two-dimensional shapes, three-dimensional figures, and describe the location and movement of an object through investigation. Um, and to recognize and describe patterns using a variety of materials, different contexts, that kind of thing. Yeah, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's a lot of stuff to have to do. Even me just reading it going, okay, what is that? And then by example, I can figure out what it is, but yeah, a lot of big words. So, anyways, and then in health and physical activity, demonstrate an awareness of health and safety practices for themselves and others based on their um, and basic awareness of their own safety and well-being. To participate willingly in a variety of activities that require both the use of large and small muscles, to develop control of large and or small muscles in a variety of contexts. So, when I'm looking at Nevaeh's report card, personal and social development. This is huge, 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 huge for somebody with autism. Social is, like I've said before in a previous video, social is really one of the biggest things they struggle with. So in her report card, she's showing a lot of improvement. At the beginning of the school year, she was very focused on one person. She would pick one child and she'd become very focused on them, and she would choose to try to play with them all the time. And for most of the time, for the first couple of days, the child would tolerate and maybe enjoy at first Nevaeh's playing with them, but after a while, it became to a point where it was an obsession, and it almost kind of scary for a kid because um, this person is constantly in your personal space, constantly wanting you to do things, and you may not want to do them, or you may want to play with somebody else today, and Nevaeh wasn't allowing that. So in her report card, we got a note home saying that she is beginning to show um, an ability to interact with more than just one peer at a time, which is amazing, which is awesome for her. Although she still has frequent episodes where she becomes unwilling to cooperate with adults and peers, especially when it doesn't when it doesn't suit her agenda. Not very, nothing I didn't already know. Um, she can be, and this is where when things don't go her way or when she's not understanding, she becomes very disruptive, yelling, hiding, and unwilling to comply to any demands. So I'm really happy about this because I'm finding that at this point, as she's getting older, she's not, the coping mechanisms that we've had for her, she's starting to outgrow. They're not really working for her anymore as her language and as her knowledge develops, as the understanding of things develops, also the anxiety develops, the fear of doing things, the fear of failing, just like any other human, the anticipation, the excitement, it all kind of comes to a head. So I'm really excited that next term they're going to be helping her with her coping skills and to help her communicate her needs in a more positive manner, which is key for her because for her to be able to function in any kind of regular society, she's going to need coping mechanisms because all her life she's going to have that where she becomes overwhelmed, she's not going to get her way, she's going to have a little bit of give and take. So that's really exciting that they're going to be teaching her these things. Reading and writing. Nevaeh, because she has a language barrier, the whole concept of reading and writing is just she can't wrap her head around it because first of all she doesn't have the language skills to communicate with you. Therefore, reading becomes a problem because then she doesn't have the communication skills to also interpret what's being read. Nevaeh is a very, very visual learner, so she will not learn to read by sound because her hearing something just isn't going to work. Like when I say to her, for example, hippopotamus, I have to go hippopotamus, and she goes hippopotamus. She doesn't hear the T in it. Or she will use things like that all the time. When she says remember, she will say remember mom. So I always go to her remember, but it's she can do it when you do it like that, but then she goes remember mom. So she again, so if you don't understand by hearing words, she will learn to read very visually. So what I've been told is that she'll probably actually start to learn words as a whole rather than as sounding out. So it won't be it, it will literally be it, it. This word formed together means it. She's already able to write some names of herself, of my mom, and some of her friends' names if they have similar letters in her name. So basically, they're going to be working on her to focus on more commonly used words like it, I, and the, is, that kind of thing. So that's exciting. Um, Language of math is very difficult. For any child, it is somewhat difficult, and I know I struggled with it in school, and math, if it is not a strong point, it will never be a strong point. Unfortunately for Nevaeh, it is definitely not a strong point. Um, in math, they're required to be able to take an object, say little cars, and um, they're all the same in the sense they're all a car. And to see the difference, it would be to be in the color. But you may have a car that looks like a Volkswagen Bug and then a car that looks like a Honda Accord. And so you have to be able to separate them not only by color, but then you have to be able to separate them by the shape and the size. So you would separate the Honda from the Volkswagen. And she's unable to see those differences. She can see the color differences, but if it's not an obvious difference, she can't, she has a hard time making those differences. And that is one of the things I guess they do in math. Because Nevaeh is a very visual learner, she excels in art. She is very creative. In fact, in my mind, I think she is beyond that of a 6-year-old. She draws very well. She pays very close attention to detail when she's doing any kind of artwork, and she absolutely loves it because for her, she can express feelings and she can express what she's seeing and how her world works around her through her pictures and her art. So that's so of course her paintings and drawings are showing much progress and a lot of elements of design, example, shape, color, size. So that's basically report card. Now, Nevaeh, because she's special needs, because she has autism, she gets what's called an IEP, which is an individual education plan. And basically, this semester or term, so to speak, they've been working on social skills and self-control and adapting behaviors. Basically, like I said before, when things don't go her way, she becomes quite upset. She lashes out, she yells, she hits, she stomps away. So they're going to continue working on her with the social skills. Now, self-control and behavior adapting. As I said, Nevaeh is very dependent on regular. It has to be this way. In the classroom they have set up for her, they have a visual board where it shows each and every one of the things that's going to happen that day. It's a visual schedule. And what they do in the morning, Nevaeh comes in with her EA, they set up the visual schedule so that she's aware of what is going on. However, if there's a minor adjustment to her, apparently if there's a minor adjustment to her schedule or anything that disrupts her personal agenda and or wishes, she becomes very uncooperative. She's unable to move past the fact that it's not the way we said it was supposed to be and something changed and now I have to go. So all in all, great report card. I'm really happy with that the school has stepped up and said this is what we'd like to do, because those would be some of the changes that I would have loved to make. I'll be going in for an interview with the teacher, hopefully, to discuss the IEP a little bit more. I'm really hoping that together we can work as a team to find some more of these coping skills, because I'm really finding it hard at home, even for myself, to find something that really works for her. So I'm hoping maybe they can find something um, that will help her out. So that is my update for today. And stay tuned in, subscribe, press like, comment, all that jazz, and we'll talk later.